Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And now I hope I'm also visible, right? So let's continue where we were yesterday. All right. So yesterday we talked about, or actually we started with the Buddhist or the Jainist art or Jainism art. Now we just had an introduction in which stupa, vihara, rock cut, and sculptures were there. Now, out of these, we have started with the stupas. So, yesterday I told you that stupa is nothing but a kind of a structure where the Buddha's relics are being kept. Now, Buddha's relics means the Buddha was after his death, or Mahaparinirvana, which is also the death of Buddha. After his death, he was cremated, and yesterday I told you that many of his belongings or the relics were then shifted towards various republics, and they were distributed among the various republics. And on those republics, these republics actually started building for the first time something known as stupa. Now, stupa is, as you all know, it's a monumental art. Is lecture recording? Yes, guys, it is. This lecture is going to be recorded, and there was a technical error. Uh, I think yesterday evening there was a technical error, not from our side, guys. It was from the Google, right? We all know कैसे चल रहा है आजकल. Microsoft also crashed, so there was some issue in that. So today's class might get uploaded a bit late. Okay, today's class I'm talking about. Otherwise, you will get all the recorded lectures. Got the point? So let's continue. So yesterday we were talking about that how Buddhist art was. So first one was stupa. I told you there are two kinds of stupa, Indian style and the Gandhar style. Now, both the styles have the same thing. That is, the common thing is mound, right? And mound is what? It covers relics. That's it. So stupa is a mound that covers relics. Yesterday I talked about few of the examples. Piprivaha, Nepal, right? Bharut, actually, Amravati, Nagarjunakonda, Dhamik, and various dynasties that we have already discussed yesterday. So let's continue from here and let's move ahead that what and how the other things are going to be shaped up. So the first thing is how the Gandhar style is there. Now, Gandhar style basically means something from Afghanistan. Got the point? Gandhar is in. Presently, it is known as Kandhar, right? Presently, it is known as Kandhar, right? It's in Afghanistan. There are two kinds of basic examples. First is Dharma Rajika Stoop and second is Purushpura Stoop. Purushpura is the old name of Peshawar. It's in Pakistan right now. That was the capital of Kanishk. Most of the time, students have the confusion that what was the capital of Kanishk. Actually, Purushpura or Peshawar was the capital of Kanishk. Because Kanishk or the Kushans were ruling from Central Asia till Mathura. And they had the influence up to Sarnath as well. All right. So Dharmarajika and Purushpura are the two examples of Gandhar. Now, when we are saying there are two styles, Gandhar and the Indian style, let me come up, you can say separation. So in Indian style, right, and Gandhar style, ये पूछ सकते हैं because here also we have external influence. In Indian style, you have small mound. Here you have large mound, right? Secondly, here you have single story or single level, tier, whatever you can call it as, right? It is multiple. All right. It is indigenous. It is external influence. Then here you have use of bricks and stones, mostly stones. So this is the basic classification. You can take a screenshot right now because this is not something which is going to be parts of your notes, because this is the extra screen that I've started up. So this division of Indian stoop or Indian style of stoop and Gandhar style of stoop is something that has been seen. Now, what is the external influence in this case? Very simple. External influence में आ जाएगा. You will have pillars. You will have animal motifs, which is Persian influence, for example, right? Then you have capitals. All of you understand what is a capital? Over a pillar, there is a small structure which is known as capital, on which you will find an animal, right? That's how the things are being shaped up. So external influence hai, pillars, animal motifs, capital. Here it is indigenous and it is highly polished. Highly polished, right? Then here you will have Brahmanical influence, and which is absent over here. यहाँ पर absent है. Now, what do you understand by Brahmanical influence? You will find the relevance of Yaksha and Yakshini. Yaksha and Yakshini. Now, see, Yaksha and Yakshini are two structures made. They represent the male and the female energies, actually, to be specific, energies, right? Spirits. They are the spirits, soul or the spirits, or also shows the energies. Now, Yaksha and Yakshini are common in both, actually all three, Jainism, Buddhism, and Hinduism. But if it is present in the stoop, in and around stoop, it is Indian style. If it is absent, it is Gandhar style. All right. So this is what you can pause now. You can take a screenshot right now with this respect. Let's move ahead further. Okay. Huh.
What was capital?
Capital. See, the pillar in the pillar art.
What was capital?
I'm coming to that. Let's say this is a particular pillar which will have a base, right? Every pillar will have a base. Now here you will have a capital. Let's say it is something like this. And on this you will have an animal. So this is which is known as capital, right? This is which is known as animal motive. And this is a pillar. Got the point? Now this is something which is influenced by Persian art. When Persian Empire was there in Iran, Persia means Iran, right? So when Persian Empire was there, it was ruling ahead. You must have heard about the names like Cyrus, right? Xerxes, Darius. They were before Chandragupta Maurya. So those were the people who actually expanded the Persian art, and Persian art is, right, the capital. Okay.
Yes, sir.
See, Ashoka actually, no. See, आप थोड़ा confused हो रहे हो. We are talking not about pillar art. We are talking about whether pillars were there or not. If you find a pillar around a stoop, it is Gandhar. If you find a pillar alone and there is no stoop around, that is Mauryan art. All right. So that's how it is. So take a screenshot. Let's move ahead. Okay. So I'm removing all this. I hope you have taken the screenshot as well. Okay. We'll come to the pillar art as well. Okay. Now, so these are two of the examples of Gandhar style. As it is Gandhar style, you can easily understand it will be found in northwestern part of Indian subcontinent and Afghanistan. Then comes the Chaityas. Chaityas, right? It's also place of worship. Now, the basic difference which I told you yesterday, that what is the difference between Chaitya and Stoop? Stoop is a mound, and secondly, Stoop has relief. Chaitya does not, right? Everywhere, yes, indigenous is highly polished. For example, the Sanchi Stoop. If you go to Sanchi Stoop, you will find the walls, the pillars, the outer wall is polished, right? You'll find that. Now, coming to Chaitya. So as I told you, Chaitya, see, understand this. You have one Ram Amarnath cave. I'm talking about Hinduism. You have one Amarnath cave that is in Jammu and Kashmir, right? We have Kedarnath, Badrinath, and all those temples. But you cannot, somebody is unmuted. Please mute yourself. It is creating disturbance. Okay. So you have, first you have temples which are nationally recognized. But that does not mean you cannot have a image or an idol in your home. So if Buddhist monks cannot travel to all the places, understand this, if Buddhist monks cannot travel across places, let's say they cannot travel to Sanchi, but they want to worship. So how? So why not create something, a place of worship where they are staying? So Chaitya is that. Chaitya is like a small temple in your house. So Chaitya, the purpose of Chaitya was to bring the place of worship where you are living. Because you cannot take Sanchi everywhere, right? Some of the examples are, now Chaityas are divided into two, Hinayana, the lesser vehicle or the older vehicle, and Mahayana. See, I'm not going to differentiate between these two. For all those students who find that, sir, some of the information is not there, please understand that we have already conducted prelims QIP. So what is Hinayana? What is Mahayana? The difference between the two, right? Everything was discussed in the prelims QIP classes. Here I am only focusing on three things: art, architecture, and literature. Only three things from different periods, because that is what the syllabus is. So Chaitya is divided into Hinayana and Mahayana. Hinayana basically no Buddha's image, basically, because they don't believe in deity worship. They don't consider Buddha to be God, right? Hence, Buddha's images are not being worshipped. All right. Okay. Now, if there is a Chaitya, just as a reference, I'm creating it. Let's say this is a particular Chaitya, right? Okay, this is a Chaitya, and this is the entry point. Now, people will be sitting over here. Let's say these are the people who are sitting over here, right? Basically, these are monks, Buddhist monks. Now, they must be facing someone. So they are facing this side. Now, what is there in this side? If you have image of Buddha, it is Mahayana. It is Mahayana Chaitya. If you have image of Stoop, it is Hinayana. Itna sa, that's the only difference you need to understand. Only this one. Got the point? So when UPSC asks what are the various aspects of Buddhist art or how the Buddhist art evolved in India, right? Buddhist architecture, because Chaitya is also part of your architecture. Then you should understand that this is how the things actually are. Moving ahead. Now, here are just the examples: Baja, Ajanta, Nasik, Karle, and Kaneri, right? Karle is one of the largest Chaitya belonging to the Satavahan period, right? It is, and Kaneri, and you will understand that all of them are in western part of India and majority of them are in Maharashtra. The reason being patronage. It's not that, see, of course, Chaitya, Vihara, everything requires stones because these are caves. Caves can only be built in the mountains. You cannot build a cave in the plain part. Desert mein caves bana sakte ho? You cannot, right? You cannot build caves in desert part. You need rocks, large rocks to create or to construct a cave. So the rocks plus second context is that rocks should be strong. So in Deccan India, you have igneous formation. Here comes the geography. So you have igneous formation. As a result of igneous formation, you have stronger rocks. They are not sedimentary, guys. In sedimentary, creation of rock is tough. It's very tough. So creating a rock cut cave in Himalaya is almost next to impossible because there are landslides. But Ajanta, Ellora, Aurangabad, Maharashtra region, right? Deccan part, where all these are located. In this case, you will not find any much difficulty in creating a cave. That's the reason why they are. What if UPSC today ask? They might ask, because they ask these kind of random questions, that why the rock cut cave architecture was limited to central India or South India. Bataiye. What if they ask like this kind of question? Got the point? Then we come to the Mahayana Chaitya. So the basic identification of Mahayana Chaitya is that you will find the images of Buddha. So in Ajanta, you have images of Buddha and Bodhisattva, Padampani, right? Vajrapani. It has 29 caves belonging to various dynasties, including Gupta, Satavahanas, Chalukyas, and many others, right? Ellora also. But the difference is that in Ellora, you have Hinduism and Jainism also. So this is all about Chaitya, Vihara, and Stoop. Let's understand something more with respect to the Stoop architecture and the division of the style of the Stupas. It is a mound-like structure, mostly constructed using bricks, started from bricks. Later on, they were also you can say the stones which were used. Now, these are the parts of Stupa. Anda, Harmika, Anda, that is hemisphere. I told you yesterday as well. As you can see, this is Anda, right? Then you have Harmika. A top dome is Harmika, square balcony, right? Which encloses the pedestal. This is Harmika. It's a square balcony. Then we have Chhatra, kind of an umbrella, right? Then we have Vedika, the wooden stone railing called Vedika. As you can see, here it is. Now it is written wooden, which is assumed that previously it was wooden, but later on during the Shunga period, it was constructed as stone. Toran gateway, Medhi, the pedestrian path. Some historians believe that the circumference or circumventing around the temple under Hinduism comes from the Buddhism. In Hindu temples also, you will find, except Shiva temple, you will find that people are going across the shrine. They are taking round across the shrine. But the only difference is that Hindu temples are square in shape. The sanctum is square in shape. And on the other hand, the Buddhist mount, the stupas are circular in fashion. So this is how the entire things are. This is how the structure is. If UPSC asks a question on Buddhist art with a special reference to the stupa, this is how you can use the examples. Moving ahead. Viharas. Now, Vihar is a monastery. It's like a temporary hotel. Now, as you can see in this image, this is the monastery. Now, in this particular monastery, you can easily see that this is what? R1, R2. What is this? R3. These are rooms, guys. Prior 4. These are the rooms where who will live? Buddhist monk. And this is meditation hall. But Buddhist monk kya karte hain? What do they do? They go for meditation. So this is Buddhist meditation hall. So they will face to a particular shrine. You may or may not have a shrine, right? If you have a shrine within a vihar or vihara, it will become a chaitya. There is main hall, entrance, chambers, and everything is there. The best example in this case is Nagapattinam Vihara in Tamil Nadu, which was built by Shailendra King of Sumatra. Shailendra King of Sumatra basically means we are talking about 10th and 11th century, right? Chol Emperor Raja Raja I or Raj Raja I, right? He had a good amount of numbers of relations and visits to the Southeast Asia, because all of you know that Chol, the second dynasty of the Chol, is Imperial Chol. And when we talk about Imperial Chol, we basically mean that they had connections from Southeast Asia. And this also shows that Hinduism at this point of time reached Southeast Asia, and Buddhism from there came to India. Otherwise, influence of Buddhism in South India is a very, very rare thing. All right. Then you have viharas. Another example is viharas of Ajanta and Ellora. वो भी है, right? And there are many viharas in East Coastal Andhra. In East Coastal Andhra Pradesh, you have numerous viharas which are located. Moving ahead to the last one, that is Chaitya. It is a temple or an assembly hall operated by small rectangular doorways, entry gate you can say, right? And you have two longitudinal columns, as you can see over here, right? See, In Chaitya, you don't have rooms to stay. It's not a hotel kind of a thing. It's not a sarai, right? Monks are not coming here to stay. They are just coming here for worship. Now, in this particular, which is the example of Karle Chaitya, this is Karle. It's in Maharashtra. Here you can see what is this? Anyone? What is this? क्या है ये? What?
Stoop.
It's a stoop. So it means Hinayana or Mahayana? Hinayana or Mahayana? Perfect.
Heenyan.
Perfect. 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 चलो समझ में आ रहा है, which is good. Right? Now this is the basic difference. Okay? It looks like a church, right? I always discuss this in the class as well. अब समझो. Now, till now, what we have discussed is the basic Buddhist art. What is stoop? Types of stoops. What are chaitya? Types of chaitya. What are vihars? Types of vihars. And we have discussed about all the specific examples. In fact, external influence also, such as Gandhar style. All right. Now coming to the question. Sir, what about pillars? Right? What about pillars? What about Buddhist paintings? Those are the things that we are going to discuss now. And some of them will be discussed with respect to the dynasties. For example, the Buddhist pillars will be discussed along with Ashokan Empire. Gandhar school, Mathura school will be discussed along with Kushans. Not here. The last thing, or the last aspect in this case, is going to be the stumps or the lats. Here you have three types. The last one, that is Ashokan pillar, I will be discussing this in much detail later on. Now, Buddhist pillars are of three types: Presbyterians, Greco-Roman, and Ashokan, right? No idol or image in the Chaitya. See, Chaitya might have idols as well. In Ajanta, we have that.
Sir, how do we know कि it's Heenyan stoop?
How do we know that it's Hinayana Stup, right? ये पूछ रहे हो ना?
Last one.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, if it is a stoop, it is Hinayana. If you find the image of Buddha, it is Mahayana. Because Mahayana, it is UPSC's PYQ, guys. Prelims में पूछा है. In UPSC's PYQ, they asked that Mahayana follow or considered Buddha as a deity or a god. Yes. And they believe in idol worship as well. Who? Mahayanis. But Hinayana don't. Hinayana never believed Buddha as a god, and they say Buddha will never be reborn. Okay. Now, moving ahead. So let's talk about the pillars. There are three styles of pillars that India had: Presbyterian, Greco-Roman, and Ashokan. Now, all of you must have heard about only Ashokan. Some of you might have seen about the Greco-Roman as well. We have included all three. The first one is octagonal shape, right? कुछ इस तरह से. Okay, bear me if I cannot construct an octagon. जो भी है ऐसा इस कुछ तरह का होगा, right? This is how it is, octagonal shape. 8 sides, highly polished है, bell-shaped capital है. Now, as you can see in this image, this is, all of you know, this is India's national emblem, right? So this is India's national emblem, and the thing over here which you see is capital. ये है. All right, and this is animal motive. ये आपको पता ही है. This is animal motive. Now we have used the lions for the national emblem. There are many others. You will find horse, you will find bull. There are many other animals which have been used. The second one is Greco-Roman. Now from the name itself, you will know that how it has been. They are rectangular in shape, right? ये देखो, they are like this. They are tall and slender, 6 to 8 times of its diameter. The height is 6 to 8 times of its diameter, and the top of this is fluted. Fluted means the one you will see on the screen. It will be bulging out. Coming to the last one, Ashokan pillar, which we will discuss later on in much detail. Here is an example, which is Sarnath pillar. It is 15 meter high, right? 4 lions हैं, ये सारे आपको symbols यहाँ पे मिल जाएंगे. Now, Ashokan pillars has, right, Greco-Roman influence. इसके अंदर Greco-Roman influence है, plus that is, it is external influence, plus it has indigenous motives. Just to clarify, guys, the first two, that is Praeto-Polynesian and Greco-Roman, they do not have religious connotation. Got the point? Greco-Roman, for example. So Greco-Romans were also part of buildings. So Greco-Roman pillars were also part of buildings. But do you find Ashokan pillars as a part of building? No. They are single standing pillars. And they have political and religious connotations which are attached to them. Scripts are written, right? Scripts are written. Yes, it is Persian. Scripts are written in both the pillars. All three of them, you will find the scripts written. But the first two does not have religion associated, guys. The third one is Ashokan pillar has association of a religion, to be specific. Moving ahead. Now you can see these are the three arts, right, that we have already discussed about. So this is your caves, Buddhist caves, right? Also known as Chaitya, right? This comes from, I won't say a cave to be per se, but it is more like a cave temple, right? And the last one is cave paintings. It is mostly in Ellora. So here, it's not only Buddhist, Hindu and Jain are also there. It is Buddhist. Right? Ajanta में है, and ये भी Ajanta है. Got the point? Moving ahead. Other forms of Buddhist art. ये बहुत important है. Because see, who knows, UPSC might ask a question from the other forms of Buddhist art as well. Now we have examples over here. The first one is Buddhist statues, right? Gandhar, Mathura, Amravati. We will discuss that in detail later on. Bodhisattva figure, Manjushri, Padampani, right? Vajrapani. If you don't know, this is Padampani. Ye, the painting that you see, yeah, this is Padampani. How do you know that? Because he's holding lotus. Padampani means holding a lotus. Then we have another Buddhist art is Buddha's Mudra, Abhay Mudra, Dhyan Mudra. All right. Jatak tales are also part of Buddhist art, as seen in Ajanta paintings. Because in Ajanta paintings, you will find stories belonging to Jatak tales. Then we have Yaksha and Yakshini on this image, right? You can see over here. We have Yaksha and Yakshini, this, right? Who are they? These are the spirits. Soul hai, soul, Atma, right? These are the spirits inhabiting the nature, like trees and mountains. On the other hand, Yakshini is also a deity of fertility. She's a deity of fertility. Then you have mandals or yantra. As you can see in the first image, this is yantra or mandal. This shows Hindu influence. Right? These are the geometric design that represent the cosmic universe. ये दिख रहा है आपको? This Doctor Strange from Marvel, right? I don't know how many of you are Marvel fan or whatever. In that movie, I'm just giving you the context because movie shows the same thing. In that movie, they draw through their hand gesture, they draw mandalas, right? Because they show the Buddhist art, to be specific. Then we have Tara, the female god, and the medieval time paintings such as Thangka from Sikkim. The last one, as you can see, Thangka painting from Sikkim. Now you can see one difference. In the Thangka painting, which is from Sikkim, it is based on Vajrayana Buddhism, which is the third school. There are numerous schools, right? More than 100 schools are there. But we read about Hinayana, Mahayana, and Vajrayana. It believes in Tantra Mantra Vidya, right? Which also has the influence of black magic. And as a result of that, they find intermixing with that of the Hindu art or the Hindu sculptures or the Hindu art sculptures. It does a difference. That's the basic difference that you find over here. Now, given this, right? Given this, guys, we have discussed almost every Buddhist art. Every Buddhist art, be it the structural art, right? And their architecture. As far as Buddhist literature is concerned, so all of you know that Buddhist literature was written in Pali language. All of you know this thing? All right. Now, UPSC may not ask a question which was very least likely to ask, that what is the composition of Vinay Pitak, what is the composition of Sutta Pitak, so on and so forth. I'm not assuming that UPSC will ask that kind of detail, because they don't even ask that things in the optional paper as well. So they might go more towards the Buddhist art rather than the other things. Now, moving from the Buddhist art to the Jain art. Now, Jain art is mostly a kind of a representation of the Hindu art. So you have representation. Jain art is nothing but a culmination or the mixing of Hindu art and Buddhist art. So Jain art is a blend of Hindu temple art, which is Nagara style, and Buddhist sculpture art. So when you talk about the Jain sculpture, they represent what Buddha had or Buddhist had. When you talk about the Jain temples, they represent what Hindu temples had. Simple hai. If you know the design and the architecture of Nagara style of temple, you can easily write points on Jain temples. If you know about the Buddhist art, you can easily talk about the Jain art as well. Kaise? If you know the basic 4-5 points of Mathura art of sculptures, you can easily write down about Jain art. They also had the caves. They also have the freestanding statues, right? So Gomateshwar, Shravan we all know that it is the largest you can say largest medieval times structure belonging to the Jain art. Then we have Dilwara temples. The example is mentioned on the screen as well. You can see intrinsically carved. Intrinsically carved. Every inch of the temple is carved out, right? Udaygiri and Khandgiri caves, that belongs to the Kharvel, the ruler of Odisha. Then we have Khajuraho temples. Only one of them is Jain temple. Then we have Ellora caves, in which, as you can see, the photograph shows the Ellora caves over here. What does it shows? See, these are the same thing that we see in case of Buddhism. It's like a copycat. The only thing is that here the minor details will be different. Otherwise, the broad details are the same. Because see, the artist is going to be same. You cannot hire different artists. The artists are going to be same. So material, the tools, the designs which they use remains mostly the same. And the last important Buddhist Jain art is the Ayak Patra. It is more like mandala. In the previous case, as you see, we had mandalas. The mandalas were mostly on the paper, right? Or like a painting. But here, Ayak Patra, right? It is a religious slab. It is mostly on the stone. And the center of Ayak Patra is a Jain Tirthankar. Over here, it was Buddha. Over here, it is Buddha. Over here, it is Ayak Patra. Now, you just see and go through these different examples and find out, is there anything which they have not borrowed or they are indigenous? Bataiye. Is there anything that you see in Jain art which is separately different, which you have never seen in anywhere else? So understanding and remembering, right? Jain art, बहुत simple hai. It's too easy. You just need to know about Ellora. You just need to know about, you can say, the sculptural art of Mathura or the temple art of Nagara style. आपको वो आना चाहिए. If UPSC asks, what are the basic or elaborate on the Jain art and architecture, you can easily do that. It's easy, right? This single slide will help you to write the entire answer, be it 150 or 250 marks. Moving ahead. No, see, I don't know that there always be a Jain Tirthankar in the Ayak Patra or not. A person who is a religious head in the Jainism can talk about that. I don't have much details on that. But see, Ayak Patra is showing what? That center of universe is a Tirthankar. Yehi show kar raha hai, right? And all the events are going around that Tirthankar. Now, the temples of Jain, they are known as Basadi in Karnataka. There are caves or the gumfas. See, ये सिर्फ examples हैं. Ellora caves, Mangitungi caves, Jagpant caves, Udaygiri, Hathi Gumfa, Sitnavasal. If you can't remember all of them, please remember this one, 1, 2, and 3. ये are बहुत important है. All right. Then statues, you have statue of Ahimsa and Gomateshwar statues. Use one example. Jain Alay, also known as temple. See, in North India, the Jain temples are known as Jain Alay. In South India, that is Karnataka region, it is known as Basadi or Basri. That's it. The names are different, structure is same. And these are the examples. Previously, we had explanations, and this is the examples. In the history answer, please try to write a statement and examples wherever you can. But don't make blunder. Yesterday, I gave you the example of Indian Railways. वो नहीं करना है. While explaining the world railway, you started giving the examples of Indian Railway. While explaining the Malaya Peninsula, you gave the example of Raja Ram Mohan Roy. No. When you don't know the examples, don't write it. But if you know the example, don't skip it. It will give you better impression to the examiner, and he might give you half marks extra. And you know the relevance of half marks in this examination. Half marks may be for 10 ranks. Okay. From IRS to IPS, from IPS to IAS. That can make a big difference to your numbers. Now, these are some of the examples. Okay. Now, they belong to this is Palitna, right? Yeah, I think this is Ranakpur. These are the places, right? And this is Dilwara in Mount Abu. Common elements of the Jain temples. Temples are built in the complexes or the groups. As you can see in the image, there is no single temple. It's a complex, multiple temples, right? So if there are multiple temples, you will have multiple shikhars as well. All of you understand what is shikhar? Shikhar is that part of the temple under which the main deity is being stationed. As you can see, so this is shikhar. Ye hai aapka shikhar, right? So there are multiple temples, so you have multiple shikhars. Temples were built using the Nagara style. Ye yaad rakhna. Jain temples are built mostly using the Nagara style. Why? Tell me, why? Why do you think that Nagara style temples were built? Come on, I'm waiting. Why Nagara style of temple? Why not Dravida style or Visara style? Why not Kalinga style? Okay, patronage given by the Northern kings. Good, 1 point. Present in central India or North India. Okay.
Didn't reach South India.
Huh?
Jainism didn't reach South India. Jainism didn't penetrate in South India as much as Buddhism.
Okay. No, actually, none of them penetrated much to South India. The reason is that when Jainism was in South India, understand this, when Jainism was in South India, temple construction was not in fashion. It was cave construction. When Jainism was in South India, right, we have talked about Sitnavasal caves. What the caves hai? Right? So at that point of time, it was not much in fashion. Temple construction was not much in fashion. But we have certain exemptions like Meguti temple, Meguti Jain temple, Meguti Jain temple of Karnataka. Right? Yes, the same Chalukya. Ye nahi hai. So exemptions are there, but if you have 100 temples, 90 of them will be Nagara style. Because Jain temple architecture, right, was mostly from early medieval. This Palitna I was talking about, the Mount Abu Dilwara temple, all belong to Solankis. Girnar, what we are talking about? We are talking about early medieval, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th century. But when we talk about Sitnavasal caves and others, they belong to Pallavas, Chalukyas, right? 4th century, 5th century, 6th century. So from 4th century to 11th century, there's a difference. That's why mostly Nagara style, right? Carving, to bhaiya, you have seen the images. A lot of every inch of the temple is carved out. Yellow to gray sandstone is used. Raised plinth. Now, what is raised plinth? As you can see over here. ये दिख रहा है? It is raised plinth. You have to climb at least 7 to 8 stairs, sometimes 10 to 15 stairs to go to the temple. It's not flat like Dravida style. Dravida की तरह flat नहीं है. That the ground, the surface of the ground and the temple does not have much difference. Here the difference is very high. And the last one is, these temples were constructed on the hilly areas. Why? Because there's a place known as Shikharji. ये शिखरजी एक जगह है, where the most number of Jain Tirthankars achieved salvation. Now, when Shikharji is located on the hilly area, it became a trend. It became a trend to construct the temples on the hilly areas. So whether you talk about Palitna, you talk about Mount Abu, you talk about Girnar or Shikharji, all of them are located on the hilly areas. And that is how the things are different in Jainism and Buddhism. Now, if I had to talk about and give you a question that compare and contrast the Jain temple architecture with the Chaityas of Buddhism, can you do it? Easily. बहुत easily हो जाएगा, right? It is very easy to do that. Okay, moving ahead. So this is the philosophy. I'm not going to discuss about the philosophy. All of you know, right? The basic difference between Jain philosophy and the Buddhist philosophy, right? Common points and the differences. You will get the notes. You can discuss it later on. Now let's talk about the new topic, which is foreigners account. Twice UPSC has asked a question. Now I am leaving the pillar art, right? The pillar art, the inscriptions and other things for the period of jumping into the Mauryan art and the Kushans. When we will discuss Mauryans and Kushans and Guptas, we are going to discuss that at that point of time. So let's discuss about the foreigners account. Now, India has always been exposed to the foreigners visit. Why? Because somebody opened a door. एक दरवाजा हुआ करता था, right? I don't know how many of you know about that door. It is in Hindu Kush region. Somebody opened that door, right? And nobody closed it till the Pakistan became an independent nation, right? So because that door was open, right? वो एक हिंदू कुश में कोई खैबर पास करके है. Yes, you are right. So many people started coming from there. Aryans came from there. Persians came from there, right? Many tribes came from there. Now, similarly, Indians had to fight with the foreign invaders. Kushans came from there. Indo-Greeks came from there. Hun came from there. And in fact, the arrival of Islam is also from there. So that territory became a very important one. One of them was Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great came here. He captured entire Pakistan, almost entire Pakistan. He could not capture the mainland India, the present India. And then while returning back, he sent some his commander-in-general known as Seleucus Nicator. And Seleucus Nicator was a successor of Alexander. And that is the reason why he laid the foundation of Seleucid Empire. When Seleucid Empire was there in Central and West Asia, under Seleucus Nicator, who was a successor of Alexander. So Seleucus Nicator did not want to fight with Chandragupta. So he sent one of his ambassador known as Megasthenes, right? Then many years, none of the important personality came to India. Megasthenes wrote in Greek language. इन्होंने Greek में लिखा था. मैं बता देता हूँ आपको, right? ये Greek है. These two are in Chinese, Mandarin, right? Then came Fayan. Fayan came during Gupta period, golden age of India. So he wrote everything good, right? But Fayan did not wrote about Chandragupta, right? Chandragupta II or Vikramaditya did not write anything about that. But whatever happened, these three people, Megasthenes, Husang, and Fayan, they observed a lot about India's ancient history. India's ancient history. So these are foreigners' account. Do we find any foreigners' account written in Sanskrit? No. Why Sanskrit will be a foreigner's account? It is Greek or Chinese. Then we come to the medieval India. When medieval India starts, right from 9th century, so ye Al-Masudi, we know 9th century hai. He came during the Devpal, right? Or Mahendrapal and Devpal region, a territory, 8th and 9th century ki baat hai. Followed by Al-Baruni, who came with Muhammad Ghazni, Marco Polo, Italian. Ibn Battuta came from Morocco, Arabic world. Some of them wrote in Arabic. Marco Polo wrote in Italian. Ibn Battuta, Al-Baruni wrote in Arabic. Al-Masudi, I think Persian language में written किया है, right? So basically, the foreign travelers who came to India, they had one thing common. They studied Indian society. They studied Indian polity and Indian economy. So when UPSC asks a question that what are the references, what these contributors have done in recollecting Indian history, you can easily say and think that they have done a lot in recollecting Indian history. For example, Fayan tells us about that the Gupta society was very liberal. Husang says that Harshvardhana was not ruling a liberal society. It was more like a modern rule. Harsh. Al-Masudi talks about Indian geography. He was known as Herodotus of the Arabia. He talks about the Indian society, Indian geography, the monsoon concept. Al-Baruni criticized Brahmanical status of the society. Ibn Battuta talks about the urban life. मैं एक बार गया Daulatabad and people were dancing over there. They were buying things. They were everything. People used to drink sharbat. This is what Ibn Battuta has talked about. The same is true with Abdul Razak, who went to the Vijayanagar Empire, Nicholas Conti, Thomas Rowe, Francois Bernier. They talk a lot about the Vijayanagar Empire. So this is the reason why UPSC has already asked a question. So I'm just jumping to that question, then we will come to the content. Look at these two questions asked by UPSC, 2018-2020. Assess the importance of the account of the Chinese and the Arab travelers. Now Chinese, just write 2, Fayan and Husang. Arab travelers, just write 2, 3, Al-Baruni, Masudi, Ibn Battuta and others. That's it. Assess the importance of the accounts. The point is ki the question is asking that did their account help? Are they asking the names of the foreign travelers? Tell me, are they asking the names of the travelers? No. They're not asking anything. They're not asking the names. They're not asking the names of the travelers. They are not asking the language which they used. They are not asking like the books, the names of the books. What they're asking? Did the content written by these foreign travelers help you to understand India? You will say yes. And that's just right. How? The second question is 2020. Persian literary sources of medieval India reflect the spirit of the age. Persian literature, sir. You will talk about Al-Baruni. Right? Now, Al-Baruni wrote a lot about India when he came with Muhammad Ghaznavi. He even criticized Ghaznavi, that Ghaznavi killed 50,000 people who were trying to protect the Somnath temple. He talked about the Sanskrit literature. He, in fact, I'm talking about Al-Baruni, he translated the Patanjali's Mahabhashya, the grammar of Sanskrit. So, and Persian literature, so entire Mughal literature is Persian. You write about that, Ain-e-Akbari, Akbarnama, Pasha-nama. You pick any particular book and you can talk about it. Now, when this question came in an examination, many of the students were completely blank. Kya likhe? Because when the question is striking, the first thing which comes to your mind is, I don't have facts. I'll take 2 minutes of your class just to explain this and remove this fear from you. None of these questions on your screen ask about facts. तो पूछ ही नहीं रहे. The names of the books, the dates, the country they came from, कुछ नहीं पूछ रहे. You just say कि हाँ, these books talks about something. If you can recall the names of the book, it's okay. Definitely it will give you more marks. But at least tell us कि what they talk about. इतना तो पता होगा. And if you don't know, already they have asked this twice. So we are expecting that they may ask the same thing in the future as well, because they have a habit of repeating the topics. So if they ask this again in the future, we have the content for you. Let's start. So we'll start from the Megasthenes. Megasthenes, as I have told you, he came along with he was an ambassador of the Seleucus. Seleucus was a successor of Alexander. He was called Chandragupta. The Chandragupta Maurya was called as Sandrocotus. I'll tell you the book which he wrote was Indica, which is in Greek language. The original book is lost. So how do we know about him? From the work of Pliny and Ptolemy, right? From the work of Pliny and Ptolemy. Now, his observations were well-organized governance structure with hierarchy of officials. You must have heard about the concept that Patliputra had 6 committees. Heard about this concept? Patliputra had municipal committee. There were 6 boards. They had an army which had 6 other groups, infantry, cavalry. All these kind of things was explained by Chandragupta, Megasthenes, not by Chanakya. No. Saptang is different theory. Saptang is different theory, guys. Saptang is 7 states. I'm talking about the division of municipality. That's how it is. The division of municipality. The division of army. See, Ardha Shastra explains about the caste system, Varna system. He talks about class. I'll give you the reference, right? He says that there was a system of spies, presence of Varna system, prevalence of slavery, irrigation system was present, thanks to Ashoka for that regard also. Trade network for extensive. To be specific, we had Tamralipti on eastern side and Bharuch on western side. Bharuch means near Surat. Worship of god and goddesses, performance of sacrifice, and the influence of astrology. So this is what Megasthenes tells us about the history of ancient India. Moving ahead. Now comes the Chinese. Isme we will have a little bit of extensive discussion. Fayan. The book is Fukoki, written in Chinese language. The book was written after he returned back to China. While in India, he was just making notes, which you do, right? While taking the UPSC classes. So you are making notes, but you don't write books. He made a note, he wrote the book. So what are the notes are mentioned on the screen. So as far as on Indian polity, he says that Gupta administration was liberal. Ye bahut important hai. It will change during Harsha period. Disputes were limited. First time offenders were treated with fine. The repeated were treated with severe punishment. Right? Which are history sheeters. Death penalty was absent. It shows what? Golden age, guys. This is the golden age. Gupta period is golden age. Death penalty is absent. There was a palace of Ashok that still survived. He explained that. And it was made up of wood. Economy, land ownership was transferable. You can transfer land ownership. Government servants were paid in cash, which means the economy was good. Monasteries were there, belonging to the Buddhist empire. Buddhist people. Sanghas were there. Temples were free from any form of taxations. You must have heard about the Brahmadeh, Agrahar, the type of land grants. Right? Brahmadeh and Agrahar. Indians carried sea voyages. Ports were Cambay, Sopara. This is Nala Sopara in Mumbai. Bharuch and Tamralipti. The 3 are in Bombay or near Bombay. The last one is in Bengal. On society, he says there were public places and highways which were free from dacoity. It will change in Harsha. सब change हो जाएगा हर्षा के period में. Right? Rest houses were there. It's like sarai. Hospitals for the poor. Majority of the population was vegetarian. Alcohol was least consumed. Right? Up to things have changed. Only Chandals were the meat eaters. Otherwise, the society was not eating. See, what does it shows? It shows that the presence of food was ample. The amount of food that you have is ample. So a person need not to go for non-veg food or the meat eating. Today, we have different things. In the past, eating non-veg means absence of food, crops. That's why a person goes for this. Because in the past, it was considered to be barbarian, which means the society was something different than what we had today. Donations. Yes, rich people donated to the temples and Sangha also. Emperor worshipped Vishnu. Which emperor he is talking about? Chandragupta II or Vikramaditya. But unfortunately, he did not explain or did not set the name Chandragupta II. He never mentioned any name of the king. We are assuming based on the dates that he was talking about Chandragupta II, the son of Samudragupta. So this is what Fayan has talked about India. Moving ahead to the next one, which is Husang. Now, Husang says the book which he wrote was Yuki, again Chinese, Mandarin, right? It talks about the Western world. See, just a reminder, Fayan's Fukoki is more a religious book. This Fukoki is more of a religious book. But when Husang came to India, this book, that is CUK, Memories of the Western World, because India is west to China. So Memories of the West of World, CUK, is more a political explanation and less of religion. He explains everything about Harshvardhan, because Harshvardhan gave a lot of money to this person. Okay, I'm giving you money, write for me. So king was just in his administration and punctual. बहुत तारीफ की है, right? So whenever the other person writes your biography, obviously he's going to explain good things, right? Sanju Baba type. Kings, right, made frequent visit. Who? King. That's why I told you, this book is more political in nature. Taxation was 1/6 entire ancient India. 1/6 tax was in entire ancient India. In some of the cases, rarest of the rare cases, you will find 1/4. Otherwise, it was 1/6, which is like 17 to 18%, which is bearable. Not like 50% during Alauddin Khilji or 55% during the British Empire. 55% is too high. In ancient India, when agriculture was far better, even in that case, the people were only charged 18% of the taxation, right? Cruel punishment came up, which was absent in the Gupta period. Harshvardhan had a habit of keeping archives. He explains about the Varna system. Shudras practiced agriculture. See, when Fayan was there, Shudras were not practicing agriculture. That is Gupta period. Very rare case. Agriculture was under Brahmins. But when Harsha came up, it's a decline of Indian economy. When the economy has declined, Brahmins shifted their focus more towards patronage, leaving the land behind. And the land grant system, the feudalism has increased drastically. So the Brahmins are not going to work on the field. They will hire someone. So who they will hire? They started hiring the Shudras. Shudras are not untouchables, guys. Women, the role of women further deteriorated. Swayamvar declined. Remarriage not allowed. Sati continued. Dowry also continued. So even the situation of the women has also degraded. Did anywhere he explains anything about rise of Buddhism? Yes, but very less. Fayan, on the other hand, was inclined more towards Buddhism. Now we come to medieval India, Al-Masudi. He came from Baghdad, right, during the Pal period. In his book, Muzur-ul-Zahab, Meadows of the God, he explained about his journey. He combined the history and the scientific geography, explains the reversal of the winds and the functioning of the Indian monsoon. First, that's why he's known as Herodotus of the Arab world. Geography, he developed many maps also, right? He explained the geographical extent of India and beyond, although his maps were very, impractical. But actually, he started. Arabs were known for cartography, if you don't know that, right? At this point of time, when Islam was just starting, Arab and traders or Arab traders, because of which we also have the Arabian Sea, they were one of the finest cartographer of the world. Cartographer means they were good at making maps and they were good at geography also. Geography, astronomy, mathematics, right? You know the case of perfumes. The another name is used as Itr. From where do we get this? Arab world. So their chemistry was also good. But things changed, right? Right from the medieval India, things actually changed. Coming to the Al-Biruni, right? Persian scholar, father of Indology. Why? Because his explanation about India gives you the best explanation of that period. He wrote in Arabic. He accompanied with Ghazni. He came with a Ghazni and wrote a book, Tehqiq-e-Hind, right? Or Kitab-ul-Hind. Tehqiq-e-Hind means investigation of India. He described the society, polity, religion, and economy. He criticized Indian dependence on the hindering intellectual growth. For this, he says, it is Brahmanical arrogance. Dekho, what he said, Al-Biruni, please listen this carefully. Al-Biruni says that because the Brahmins are dominated in the Indian society, they do not allow others to get the education. When they do not allow others to get education, they actually hinders the intellectual development of the society. That's why he declined. And because of this, Indian sciences are not developing. He just said India is a land which has developed which had people like Aryabhat. All right. We have people like Aryabhat, Viraha Mihir, those kind of people. But then when he came to India in the medieval India or in the medieval period, he saw India, which was dominated by feudalism, caste system, Brahmanical dominance, and absence of scientific developments. So that's why he criticized that. He also criticized the caste system and the notion of pollution. And as I told you previously, he also translated the Patanjali's Mahabhashya in Arabic. So Al-Biruni is very important, guys. Might be asked. Then comes Marco Polo. ये पता नहीं क्यों निकले थे, घर से बोल के निकले थे मम्मी आ रहा हूं. Then he came back many years later. Right? He came to India during the period of Kakatiya rule, Rudramadehi, and he talked about the social life of South India. He talks about food, festival, masala dosa, and everything. Yes, he did. He did talk about that, right? He talked about the rasam, masala dosa, and all those things. And masala dosa was not potato, right? It was different. Then comes another third one, Ibn Battuta. He came from Morocco, right? And he wrote in Arabic. He considered India as inferior to the European society. Now see, Ibn Battuta is coming from Morocco. The neighbor of Morocco is Spain, Portugal. Now he has seen Portugal and Spain, that is, he has seen the European society. Then he came to India, and then he came during the Muhammad bin Tughlaq period, which is not considered to be a good one. So when he observed the Indian society, especially the city of Daulatabad, all of you know Muhammad bin Tughlaq shifted the capital to Daulatabad. All of you know that? So because he became a Qazi, right? He was a Qazi under Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Muhammad bin Tughlaq asked him, "Kya karte ho? What do you know?" So he said, "I know international law." Okay, you become a Qazi. It's just a joke, guys. Okay, don't take it serious. Ki sir, isko international law aata tha. No, but he became, right, Qazi also later on. So he started comparing, as he has seen both the societies, he started comparing the Indian society with that of the European. Slave, he talks about the slaves, he talks about the markets, robbers on the trade routes. He had to carry a passport to enter India. He explains about the postal courier system. Sati, adultery was a crime. Population density was very high in India. Imagine that time, right? 800 years back, he's saying population density was very high. If he would have come to Delhi at this point of time, he would have got a cardiac arrest. अभी तो हार्ट अटैक आ जाता है इसको इंडिया देख के, right? He talks about the trade via Malabar coast, trade to West and Southeast Asia, cotton, silk, muslin, spices. We all know this was the traded items of India, right? Now, thing is that Ibn Battuta did not visited eastern part of India. He visited southern part of India. So he is talking about the Malabar coast. He's talking about the trade with West Asia. He's talking about trade with Southeast Asia. On the other hand, we have seen the case of, let's say, the Fayan and Husung. They talked about Tamralipti, that is eastern port. No matter what, through these foreign writers, we can recollect India's economic development. We can recollect India's. Why did he compare Europe coming from Africa? Arey bhai, Africa to you are saying is today, na? For, see, Morocco was an Islamic country at that point of time. It has no attachment to the mainland Africa. It's a coastal country. It is more inclined towards Europe than towards Africa. That's why it is far away from the African culture. He talks about the Rabi and the Kharif crop, one of the earliest examples that in India, both the seasons are there. He described about the yogis who used to perform magics on the street and donations of the Muslim in the Arabian trade. Moving ahead, I think these are the last two. Niccolo Conti, he came during the Vijayanagar. Then the second one also, he came during the Vijayanagar. Now, Niccolo Conti Italian hai, so he wrote in Italian language. Abdul Razak wrote in Persian language. The first one talks about that. He talked about the cities. Niccolo Conti talks about the cities. Lofty, massive stone walls were there. Massive means massive, right? Stone walls during the nobles, merchants, and upper class had the wise community. Elaborate construction of the water channels. This is mentioned in your NCRT as well. There's an image which is given over there. It talks about this channels of the water channels. Rich gardens and the woods, luxurious crops of the rice and the sugar cane was also grown over here. Shrines of the Hindu deities and Brahmanical colleges and the schools were seen. Kuch negative nahi bola hai, all positive. Abdul Razak came during the same Vijayanagar Empire. He also talks about the city of Vijayanagar. Vijayanagar is an empire also, it is a city also. It was governed by the able king, filled with temples, garden, palaces, 11 lakh warriors, which is too much. I think he exaggerated. I don't know. Fortified markets and everything is there. City of Hampi is there. So basically, they are talking nothing negative about Vijayanagar. They talk about the trade. They talk about the society. They talk about this Devdasi Pratha. It is not written over here. Devdasi system. Then prostitution system, right? Then female bodyguards. This was asked by UPSC also. Female bodyguard system. Talks about sati system, right? All these things have been talked about these foreign travelers in their accounts. I told you previously also, if you cannot write the names of these travelers or their languages or the names of their books, it's okay, guys. Just write these sentences, what they have explained about economy, society, and polity. Moving ahead, right? Quality improvement, what you need to keep about, talks about language works, places they come from, their observation about the Indian society, dynasties, culture, right? Indian response towards the Indian travelers and religious contribution of these travelers. Now, can you answer these two questions? Now, see, in the first question, they have asked about the Persian literary sources. It can be Arabic also. It can be Arabic also. So instead of writing, let's say Abdul Razak, you will write Ibn Battuta. That's it. बात तो वो same ही बोल रहे हैं ना. They are talking about the same thing. So they can say Arabic literary sources of medieval India reflect the spirit of the age. Okay. Or they can say what are the assess the importance of the accounts of the Arabic and the Persian foreign travelers coming to India. They can do anything, guys. You just need to know कौन कहाँ से आया है. Forget about the names of the books. And you can easily answer this. Twice they have asked, they are very likely to repeat the same question in the future as well. Moving ahead, paintings. This
So,
is a हाँ.
ये जो फॉरेन ट्रैवलर्स है इनमें से कोई पर्शियन नहीं लिखा ना, except like Abdul Razak.
क्या नहीं लिखा?
They didn't write in Persian. They wrote in Arabic, right?
No. Al-Masudi है ना?
Right. वो भी सर अरबिक में लिखेगा, right?
नहीं भाई. ये रहा ना. He wrote in Persian. मैंने इसमें नहीं लिखा है, but he wrote in Persian. He came from Arab traveler, but he Persian में भी लिखता है, right?
Okay, sir.
Moving to the paintings. Did they ask a question from paintings? Yes. But the question from the painting was a bit confusing because they asked a question like, the question was that how the medieval, the Mesolithic paintings has the resemblance from today. एक तो I don't understand why they ask this kind of question, that how Mesolithic paintings have today's relevance, how the Indus Valley town planning has similarities with today, whatever. But this is what they are asking. So when it comes to paintings, this is the basic classification. We have three kinds of paintings. The first one being mural, right, which is also known as wall paintings. Then we have other two, which are material, right? Material paintings. Maybe on a piece of paper, maybe on a piece of cloth, could be anything. Now, miniature paintings are 25 into 25 centimeter. This is the ideal size of miniature painting. Folk painting is something created by folk, mostly in rural areas. Mural paintings are prehistoric, ancient, and medieval. Miniature are medieval and modern. We don't have miniature painting from ancient India. Please remember that. I'll give you the example of all. Bhimbetka, Ajanta, Lepakshi. Mughal paintings. Let's say Kishangarh School of Painting. Like Bani Thani, Kishangarh, UPSC question भी है. Folk paintings में तो the best known example you all know is Madhubani. Now, from the examples, you can easily understand what it is. So let's start with the first one, that is prehistoric paintings. Now, prehistoric paintings, they were confined towards the simple human figure. कैसे? Draw a triangle, then draw a triangle. These are the hands and these are the legs. That's it. Yes, folk में tribal भी आएगा. Folk paintings also include the tribal paintings. Now, this is a simple human figure which shows human activities, geometric designs, and symbols. कोई भी symbol हो सकता है. Let's say this is a particular symbol, right? This is a particular symbol. The most important symbol is like this. This is the most important symbol, and we don't know what this is. We don't know what this is. This is umbrella, and this could be anything. So if they ask a question which they have already asked in the previous PYQ, guys, these are Upper Paleolithic and Mesolithic paintings. Location, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, and all those, Telangana, Karnataka. The most important one is Lakudiyar. Lakudiyar means 1 lakh caves. Lak means 1 lakh. It's in Uttarakhand and Kupagalu, right? Piklihal and all these Tekalkota and Bhimbetka, Jogimara caves, Madhya Pradesh, all these are the examples. Just remember any two of them. I would say Lakhudiyar and Bhimbetka would be enough for you to understand. The paintings are of three categories: man, animal, geometric symbol. और कुछ नहीं है. They don't draw trees, plants. नहीं है. All right. They have men, animal, and geometrical figures. Could be triangle, circular, whatever it is. There are no trees. So nature drawing of the surrounding is not there. That's how it is. ये याद रखना भाई. The first point and this fourth point is very important. Bhimbetka caves, we all know they represent the prehistoric things, right? Features of prehistoric Bhimbetka painting, basically Mesolithic. See, now I'm not going to discuss about what is Mesolithic era. All right, Middle Age, or you can say Middle Stone Age. They employed many colors, including white, yellow, orange, red, ochre, purple, brown, green, black, but no blue. Blue color nahi hai. They used grinding of the various rocks. Hematite brought Geru color, that is red and orange kind of a thing. Then they have green color from the Caledony. White come from the limestone. It means use of natural resources, right? Animal fat use kiya hoga, gum use kiya hoga, whatever, which has lasted, and because of the chemical reaction, it lasted for long period of time. There are many paintings which are painted on the older ones, right? We can see 20 layers of such paintings, which means lasted for many generations. Lasted for many generations. The use of geometrical pattern is also seen, and mainly hunting and the economic and the social life of the people is being seen. Now you tell me in the chat box why they created these paintings. Tell me. I have shown you what they have shown in these paintings. They are showing hunting scene, routine work, social life, dancing, singing, gathering around, hunting, right? Riding an animal. Form of leisure, good. Education purpose, okay. Recording stories, good. Entertainment, perfect. Perfect.
To get success in the hunting, religious purposes.
Could be religious purpose, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Evolution of something, some events, right? Expressing them through the paintings. Aesthetic purposes, right? Aesthetic purpose भी होता है decoration की, भाई अच्छा लग रहा है. I have a painting, it is looking good. So aesthetic purpose हो सकता है. That is how it can be. Got the point? Visualization, yes. So I'm happy to see that you guys know some basic things which I don't need to explain. So why the purpose of the paintings? The scenes which were crafted, the material which was used, and the locations. There is no fifth dimension. These are the four dimensions which you need to remember. Whatever they ask, you can easily do it from here. Prehistoric paintings. Moving ahead. Now these are the examples, right? This is something, tectiform is something, a shape. You can see it over here. I'll just show it to you. This is tectiform. We don't know what this shape is. It is mostly like this, right? Maybe this is covering of something, maybe a coat or a wheel or something this person is carrying over his shoulder. We don't know. But this is a very common thing. Here you find man, elephant, man riding elephant, right? And here you have single elephant. It shows what? Shows what? Domestication, guys. Every painting shows something. It is a domestication. All right. Yes, it can only be for the boredom of children. Right. Kab tak you will watch Netflix. Right. So this is how it is. Now let's jump towards the mural paintings. So in the last 3-4 slides, whatever we have explained, the purpose, the objective, the material used, the story which are crafted, they are easy for you to explain. And not even UPSC can say ki which exact painting is from Mesolithic or Paleolithic. No idea nahi hai, it's just a rough estimation that they do. Coming to the wall paintings, that is murals. The earliest examples of those paintings comes from Ajanta. We don't find much examples before this. They are recording what? Jatak stories. I told you, it proves what? It proves it is Mahayana caves. If they are showing Buddha in the human image, obviously it is Mahayana, guys. It is not Hinayana. For example, Flying Apsara is there, Padampani is there, which was asked by UPSC as well. Yashodhara Adobe, these are some of the examples what they have been depicting from the Jatak stories, right? There are some Brahmanical figures as well, for example, Lord Indra, but that does not mean that Ajanta caves are Brahmanical caves or Hindu caves. ये थोड़ा ध्यान रखना. Repeating it again. Having the image of Indra, Lord Indra, in Ajanta does not mean it's a Hindu cave. They might be giving some story because Jatak stories are 500 plus. 500 plus stories are there in Jataks. You might find a relevance of Indra. Indra is what? The god of thunder and cloud and rainfall. आजकल तो कुछ ज्यादा ही मेहरबान है. Right? Earliest Brahmanical paintings are found in Badami caves. This is Brahmanical paintings. Earliest hai. Followed by, I'm just writing, followed by Ellora. Ellora and Badami, right? Please understand this. Ellora and Badami both are Hindu caves. Ellora has some difference. It also have Buddhist and Jain elements. Badami does not. Then we have Sitnavasal caves, but isme thoda fark hai. This is Jain paintings. Then coming again to Hindu, we have Tanjore and Lepakshi temple paintings. They also shows the cases from there. I'll give you 2-3 more examples from the painting as well. You have murals from Chol temples, right? Then you have murals from Fatehpur Sikri. All of you know Fatehpur Sikri? The fort or the palace of Akbar. We also have murals over there in Fatehpur Sikri as well. ये थोड़ा ध्यान रखना कि but the murals did not discontinued all of a sudden in medieval times. They continued even in the medieval times as well, right? But the point is that in medieval period, the mural paintings got, you can say, dispopularity, or they were not popular because of the simple reason. Islamic rule does not allow painting of humans. That's why. Islamic rule came up in medieval India. They were ruling across India, Sultanate, Mughals and all those. They do not allow the painting of human figures. Hence, the mural paintings lost relevance. Tanjore, Lepakshi, right, Meenakshi temples and others, they are only confined to southern part of India. In north, there were no such paintings. All right. Moving ahead, the third concept is miniature paintings. Now, miniature painting, as I told you, is a smaller size painting. The basic size is 25 to 25 centimeter, but that is not universal. A person can use other sizes as well. The earliest form of miniature paintings in India started from Pal school and Western Indian school, which is also known as Upbramsha. Upbramsh school. Upbramsh means corrupted. Now, why it is corrupted, we don't know. This is Jain. This is Buddhist. इतना याद रखना. This is East. This is West. So in eastern part of India, because of the Pal dynasty, this is asked by UPSC in the mains examination also, the contribution of Palas towards the promotion of Buddhism. This is what they have already asked. So if they are asking a question from Pal dynasty, they can ask question from the miniature paintings as well, that evaluate the development of miniature painting across India. So miniature painting started from medieval, because you can't create a painting on a slab, can you? कहाँ होता है? नहीं होता है. We never had such kind of colors. So the painting system started from the use of paper, palm leaves, or cloth. Right? So material was paper, palm leaves, dry one, and cloth. Most of the Mughal paintings are on the clothes only. Now the Pal school, Nalanda, Odanpuri, Vikramshila, and Sompruva were the great school of learning. All of you know that these are the universities which were destroyed later on. Right? They had the workshop for the casting bronze images as well, and they belong to the Vajrayana school of Buddhism. Just as an example, it laid to the foundation of Thangka paintings. We have just discussed few minutes back Thangka paintings, another form of Buddhist art, in which Gautam Buddha was shown having numerous hands. But having numerous hands is a Hindu concept. When God is shown having numerous hands, that is Hindu concept. So Vajrayana inculcated the Hindu concept, and that's why Thangka painting is there. So Pala, Thangka painting, Vajrayana school, the concept of female worship of Tara, everything is associated from eastern part of India. And even today, Tantra, Mantra, and Yantra is famous in eastern part of India, especially Bengal region. Coming to the western part, it comprises the region of Gujarat, Rajasthan, and Malwa territory. Jainism is the one patronized by, this is actually not Chalukya, this is Chaulukya, also known as Solanki. Right? It belongs to Solanki period. Kalpasutra and Kalkacharya were the two important Jain texts which were used to depict these paintings. See, whenever they create a painting, this shows a kind of a story. Today, AI is there. You give an order to AI, bana do. वो AI बना देता है. They make a painting. But before, at this point of time, thousands of years ago, we need a artist to create a story for the books. The purpose of miniature painting. Okay, why I'm explaining that? Tell me the purpose of miniature painting. Hurry up, hurry up.
Manuscripts.
Yes, to use in the manuscripts. What else? Yes, recording events. If UPSC asks you to compare and contrast the miniature paintings with that of the prehistoric paintings of Bhimbetka, what is the difference that you will find? Yes, telling story, recording an event, portraits. Just tell me two differences between the miniature paintings. Forget about the size, colors, and everything else. The one important difference between miniature paintings and the prehistoric Bhimbetka painting. Religion. Right? Here you are 100% sure The paintings are religiously dominated. Buddhism, Jainism. Buddhism and Jainism. But over there, we don't know who is that person who is riding the elephant, who is riding the horse. We don't know who is that person. Maybe he was a king. Maybe he was the most powerful person of Bhimbetka. We don't know. But here we know everything. We know the royal patronage. We know the religious connotations. Details are more. Then you can come to the size. It is smaller in size, used for the manuscripts. It is telling a story, details of the story, so on and so forth. That's how you can use it. Folk paintings. Now see, I don't have time to discuss all the 100 folk paintings, and you know that. So what I'm going to discuss is why folk paintings are discussed, what are the common elements, and some examples. The reason why folk paintings, of course, leisure, depiction of the local customs and cultural ideas. हम सबको पता है. Madhubani painting shows the female life, preserve the local traditions, the customs, women participation in the cultural activities, right? Source of earning, source of entertainment, and mostly painted during the festive seasons. Again, coming to the same example, Madhubani. Mithila paintings, right? What are the common elements? Designed in the easiest manner so that everyone can design. If you compare folk paintings with that of, let's say, Thangka paintings, well, Thangka paintings require expertise. Mughal paintings, they require expertise. Miniature paintings. You need you can say lenses, zooming lens to create such kind of paintings. You know, miniature paintings, coming to this one, they had use of needles to fill colors. They were using needles to fill colors. Needles. Now you can imagine the size of painting, how miniature it was. To draw a line, instead of using a brush, they are using a needle. That's why it is so small. But in folk paintings, you don't need that. In folk paintings, I will say, these are the mountains and this is the moon. Ho gaya? Right? And this is someone who is standing here looking at the moon. Ho gaya? This is the painting. If somebody says, no, so this is not the mountain, these are the ocean waves. Okay. And this is the person who is standing on the boat. Lo, ho gaya? So folk paintings are very easy to draw. No complex tools, right, or methods. Anyone can draw that. Folk dance, folk music, folk paintings are easy. भांगड़ा करना easy होता है, भरतनाट्यम करना नहीं. That's the difference. Folk means everyone can do it. Don't need expert skills for that. Follow the local folklore and mythological stories. So Madhubani paintings, which belong to the Bihar region, will not follow the themes of Gujarat. It will only follow the themes from Bihar. Derived to celebrate the festivals, important life event, would be birth of a child, marriage, right? Not to celebrate the sorrow event. The death of a person is not celebrated. Important themes include God, goddesses, animal, rural life, womanhood, like women, you can say grinding the masalas or the spices. That kind of painting is being shown. Most of these paintings are 2D in nature, right? ये बता देता हूँ. They are 2D in nature. Right? Got the point? Folk painting is a sample question. Folk paintings have been an integral part of Indian civilization. They exhibit diversity in style, pattern, and with respect to the different region of India. In the light of the above statement, enumerate some folk paintings along with their characteristics. इससे ज़्यादा नहीं पूछेंगे. This is the highest level of, this is the most in-depth question they can ask. Beyond this, they are not going to ask. That is for sure. इतना तो मैं गारंटी दे सकता हूँ आपको. That this is the best they can ask from folk paintings. But what I am considering is, they might ask questions such as, compare murals with folk, or compare ancient mural with prehistoric, or I'm giving many examples or dimensions which you can think about. They can also ask on comparing folk with miniature. They can ask this. And when they ask such kind of question, please try to draw a table or 2 columns and then write the answer, because it will give you more marks. It will fetch you more marks than before. Because when you're comparing something, writing them in the column format, left or right, will definitely give you an edge over the others. Moving ahead. So these are some of the examples which I have given you. Madhubani, Tanjore, just go through that. एक बार पढ़ के चले जाना. Just remember 4-5 such examples for the examination. Don't try to remember all. Sir, I have studied 20 such examples. Just 5 or 6 examples would be enough for you. Varli painting, which resembles more like Bhimbetka paintings. When we have Pat Chitra, Pat means you can say the canvas or the palm leaf, to be specific. We have Rajasthani miniature paintings, right, which is also part of miniature paintings as well as the folk paintings. We have Kalamkari, right? And this is how the things are. I have given these 6 paintings, guys. Isko rat ke chale jana before the examination. If they ask, you can easily answer from here. Moving to the next topic. The next topic is temple art. Now you tell me, you have studied a lot in the past few years. The earliest form of Hindu temple comes from which period? Now, when we are talking about temple, obviously we are talking about the Hindus, right? Hindu temples. Buddhist ho gaya, Jain ho gaya. Now let's come to the Hindu temple. Gupta period. Okay. You don't find any Hindu temples before that? Okay. कोई बात. See, we had temples even before Gupta period. But the point is, they are not structural temples. They are not structural temples. There are few books which talks about that temples before this period, that is temple before the Gupta period, were not structural. How? They were cave temples. Just to be specific, I'm just giving you the reference for this regard. So we started from non-structural temples, right? That is open temples. यहां पर सबसे बेस्ट आपको मिलेगा शिवा टेम्पल्स. Shiva temples with only Shivlinga. With only Shivling. कुछ नहीं है. Only Shivling is there. And people used to go there. Because, now why I'm saying this? Because as per the Sangam literature, we find evidences of temple. अब आप कहोगे सर फिर तो हाँ, on ground we don't have such examples. Because in Sangam literature we find the evidence of Om Namah Shivaya being written. So it means temple's reference is there and it is also there. आपने वो नहीं सुना क्या, the story of Kanagi? Right? The Sheela Padikam और वो मनी मकलाई, दो स्टोरीज क्या है वो यही तो है सर. So reference of non-structural temples were there even before Gupta. But, and even Satvahans, we have the stories that Satvahanas, we all know Satvahanas are pre-Gupta. Satvahanas are pre-Gupta. They are Buddhist, right? Who? Kanagi? अरे वो स्टोरी में टेम्पल्स हैं भाई, जस्ट इतना ध्यान रखो, राइट? ओके. Satvahanas. So Satvahanas also have caves which were used for meditation, and Satvahanas were Brahmins. So, sir, indirectly we find many evidences. But now coming to the point, there is the archaeological structure, the archaeological evidences comes from north में Gupta period and south Pallavas. That's it. North में Gupta period, in south Pallavas, and in between we have Chalukyas. So these are archaeological evidences. The first one were just literary evidences. It's like Indus Valley civilization and Vedic period. One has archaeological evidence, the second one has literary evidence. So Gupta period is the one where we find the evidences. And Gupta period is the one which is also the developer of Nagara style, which was later followed in the, you can say, the Jain art as well. So when it comes to the temple architecture, how you should prepare for the mains? Evolution. It started from rock cut, stone, bricks, and then the local material. Now in rock cut, you have rock cut, Rath temples, and caves. Rock cut, Rath, and caves. Now, when we say that how the religious places have evolved in India, what will be the first example that you will give me? The evolution of religious places. The very first example that you will give me. Yes, the stupa. After stupa, if I say the second example of religious structures, you will say caves. Which cave? Barabar caves. But they belong to Ajivika sect. So we started from Buddhism, then we shifted to Ajivika, then we shifted towards Jain caves, Ajanta, Ellora and all those. And then finally we come to the Hindu. So Hindu comes at fourth position. Buddhist, Ajivika, Jain, and then Hindu. So place of worship with respect to the Hindu culture comes at the fourth position in the evolution of religious places. Then the basic features of the temple, you should know about them. Mandapa, Shikhar, Antral. Mandapa, where the people sit. Shikhar, where the deity is there. Antral is the place between the two. Garden, platform, water bodies, directions, right? Classification, Nagara, Dravida, Visara, Kalinga, right? बहुत सारे हैं. Kakatiya. I have explained this time. I have included these two also. These three, two also, right? And then the regional forms which are mentioned over here. Let's start with the Hindu temples. The basic features which are common to all. Shikhar, which is a tall structure both in north and south, right? But एक चीज है जो I think many of you know already. Let's say this is temple, right? And here you have the deity. Now this structure over the above is known as Shikhar in north, and the same is known as Vimana Vimana means touching the sky. So Vimana in south and Shikhar in north. But do you know the Shikhar is also used in south? Which part of the temple is used as Shikhar? The topmost part. ये शिखर होता है. That's the only difference. In North India, the entire structure is known as Shikhar. Right? In South India, only the topmost is known as Shikhar. And the entire structure is known as Vimana. So ये थोड़ा सा it's a basic difference that you should know. Now Garbhagriha is the one where deity is kept. Mandapa is the one where people sit. When you go to a temple, you sit, is the place where mandapa is there. All the events, bhajan, kirtan, marriages, everything takes place in mandapa. Then the smaller mandapa is known as Ardha Mandapa, that the place which joins mandapa with Garbhagriha, where the Panditji stands. The place where Panditji stands in the temple is known as Antral. Pradakshina Path is same as that we have seen in the case of Stupa. In Stupa also people were going around the Stup. Here also you will find the same thing, but the change is that Stupa was circular, this is square. Garbhagriha is square, guys. Temple may be rectangle. Garbhagriha is always a square. It represents 8 sides plus 2, top and bottom, and then the 8 sides. So these are some of the examples, Nagara, Dravida and others, right? Telika temple situated in north is the northernmost Dravidian style temple. Panchayatin style means temple with 4 others, local shrines. Then we have other examples such as Rath, Arjuna's penance, and descent of Ganga, also known as descent of Ganga. Dekho, what these are. Who said temple can be only structural? Temples could be Rath, cave, mandap, only mandap. Shiva temples, most of the Shiva temples are like that, right? They can be rock cut wall, Arjuna's penance, descent of Ganga, you must have seen that image also. It can also be like that. It can be structural. कुछ भी हो सकता है. Temple could be like any form. It can be a rath. It can be a cave. The Badami cave temple, right? Ellora, the Bagh caves of Madhya Pradesh belonging to the Gupta period. It can be mandapa. It can be rock cut wall. It can be structural. Structural means when the material is combined together to create a structure. You bring stones, bricks, material from different places and you assemble all of them. Rath is chariot. Rath is chariot. You'll find this in Mahabalipuram. Pallavas. Pallavas are the one who have created all 5. Pallavas are the one who have created all 5 of them. Guptas have created 3: cave, rock cut, and structural. Gupta 3. How? ये cave कहां मिलेगा आपको? Ellora. Bagh, right? Cave है वो. Rock cut wall, Bagh. In Bagh you have Varha temple. Structural, so you have many, right? Just to give you examples, you have temples at Sarnath. You have temple at Bhitargaon. You have temple at Sanchi. Sanchi में भी Hindu temples हैं belonging to the Gupta period. Okay, so these are the 4-5 types. Let's move ahead. So these were the common points of the temples. Now we will move towards, these are some of the examples. Dekh lena, just remember 2-3 of them to write in the examination. Let's move and read about these 2, the important ones. All of you already know the basic difference between these 2 guys, so I'm not telling you anything new. These are the revision classes, so let's revise as quick as possible. Okay. Nagara style of temple, North India has started in 5th century, right? It is a beehive shaped tower, which is called Shikhara. I've already told you the entire structure is known as Shikhar. It started in the 7th century. Dravida, which is southern style. Here the tower is known as Vimana. It is common that it is common for the entire temple, right? Then it is not built on the stone platform. It is built on the stone platform. Further, it basically means it is high, it is low. If you have ever seen this, the image of Khajuraho temple, क्या मिलेगा? Khajuraho temple, to enter the Khajuraho temple is North Indian style. It is Nagara style. You have to climb like 30 stairs. But when you are going to, let's say, Virupaksha temple, when you are going to Chidambaram temple, Brideshwara temple, 30 stairs nahi chadna hai. So the height of the plinth is different. Then South India, it does not usually have a boundary wall. Boundary wall नहीं होती है, इसलिए तो तोड़ के चले गए. When you don't have boundary wall, right? In South Indian temples, boundary wall or the compound wall is compulsory. When you have a wall, you will have a gate. So when you have a wall, you have a gate, and gate is known as Gopuram. When you don't have a wall in North India, you don't have a gate. Garbhagriha is always the tallest tower. Here it may not be. Here, sometimes Garbhagriha may not be always the tallest tower. Sometimes Gopuram, the gate is taller than the temple. They do not have temple tanks, may or may not have, right? They always have temple tanks. Because here you have scarcity of water. Arey bhai, Deccan hai, it is Deccan in south. So you cannot compare the rainfall of North India and South India, except that Western Ghats. Secondly, the rivers in North India are perennial. They flow throughout the year. Look at the flow of Yamuna right now. You will never see that kind of flow in Godavari River or in Krishna River or Kaveri River. They are dying thirsty. They are perishing because the water is not there. So they had to always keep a water tank attached to the temple. If there is water scarcity, the temple can provide water to the nearby places. Here you have Ganga and Yamuna standing on the door. Here you have Dwarpals. Examples: Khandariya Mahadev, Jagannath Temple, Shore Temple, Minakshi Temple, Bideshwara Temple, many others. And most of these temples, the list is here. This is the list. Okay, you can go through this list as well. The dynasty and others. Just remember 2 each from Nagara, Visra and others. You'll be good to go. So this is the basic difference between the two. The third one is the blend of two. It's the best of 2 worlds. Now, just as a reminder, okay, दो गलती से अच्छा मैप बन गया है. Now this is North India. It has Nagara style, and for North and for Nagara style. All right. No boundary wall, no water bodies. Height is very high. There is Shikhar Mandap only. Then we have South India, which has Dravida style. Dravid race, Dravida style. Right? It has a boundary wall. It has a low height. It does not have mandap or the raised or the mandap. It has a boundary wall. It has gopurams, large gateways, which are larger than the shikhar as well. And it has water bodies. Then in between, that is this territory, right? This territory. This is a blend of both. Because they had artists coming from both the regions. So they had artists coming from north, they had artists coming from south. They have architects coming from both the sides. So that is the reason this area is known as Visaroy style, which is a blend of both, the best of 2 worlds. And this is the reason why this style, see, geography played a very important role here as well. Going back to the point. Visaroy style emerged during the Chalukyan rulers, right? It is a hybrid or the blend of both, where Nagara and Dravida both can be seen. It is mainly found in the Deccan and the central India. It flourished during the Hoysala period, Chalukya period, and Vijayanagar. Vijayanagar is also important. The main feature is that the Nagara style of Shikhar, the Shikhar is Nagara style, and the Mandap is Dravidian style. Kaise? Chaliye, let's explain this in the quick manner. So this is your temple, right? This is a side view. This is Nagara style. All right. That is North Indian style. It will have Ardh Mandap, Mandap and others. Okay. This is Nagar. Now, let's bring some changes. If I make this into pyramid shape, मैं इसको pyramid कर देता हूं, pyramidal shape. This will become Dravidal style. This is Dravidian style. And I remove this. Only flat roof. There is only flat roof. It will become Dravidian style of temple. That's it. इतना ही तो difference है. That's the only difference. So if you remove this, but you keep this. Okay, let's draw something new. So you have a flat mandap, but your shikhar is like North Indian style. So this is your Visarai style, guys. This is North style and this is South style. तो हो गया Visara. That's it. This is how it is. Okay. Then we have Antral and all those things. Examples are Ladkha temple and the temples, other temples of Badami. All of them belong to the Chalukyas. See, Nagara style, Dravida style, Visarai style. Okay. Here you do not have. ये नहीं है यहाँ पर, ये देखो मंडप नहीं है. You don't have no mandapas. So UPSC can ask a question on the evolution of temple art in India, guys. बहुत जरूरी है. They can ask it any day, anyhow. That how you should have temple art or how temple art evolved in India. You should know that it started from Nagar, that is north in the Gupta period. In south, it started from Pallava, that is Dravida style. And eventually, it is also seen that we have the blend of the two, that is Visarai style. But these are they are universal. Universal का मतलब ये है, if it is a Dravidian style, all the dynasties in south follow the Dravidian style. They do not bring their own style. So regional differences are not there, guys. Regional differences are not there.
Sir, what is mandapa?
Mandapa is this. This is Mandapa. Yeah. This area is Mandapa, where we go and sit.
सर तो उनके ऊपर भी रूफ होता है जैसे
Yeah, obviously,
मतलब
ना.
शिखर शिखर जैसे.
हाँ. The only difference is if Mandapa is having this kind of, this is not Shikhar. This is, आप कुछ भी कह सकते हो. मतलब you don't have much points for that. If Mandapa had this kind of raised structure, it is North India. If it does not, if it has a flat roof over here, see, it has a flat. Basically,
Okay.
Mandapas are used for marriage purposes. यहाँ पर marriages होती हैं, right? If it is used for marriage purposes, it is known as Kalyan Mandap. Okay, that is how it is. Moving ahead. Now the regional styles, I have just taken two because these are the most famous one. The first one is the Kalinga style. The second one is Kakatiya style. Why Kakatiya? UNESCO. It was asked in UNESCO. It became a part of UNESCO recently. Now Kalinga. Kalinga, from the name itself, it is Odisha, right? That territory is known as Kalinga. Geographically and historically, it is known as Kalinga. It has two parts, the tower and the hall. The tower is known as Dyola and the hall is known as Jagmohana. It is nothing but Mandapa, guys. The different name. It is nothing but Mandapa. बस इतना याद रखना. This is here, Jagmohana. And you don't have multiple of them. See the previous style. You have 1, 2, 3. Here, in the next one, you have just 1. पता चल रहा है difference? This is regional differences. This is how you have that Jagannath Puri temple, right? You have Jagannath Puri temple. It was in news recently, right? Because of the Jagannath Yatra. So they are lavishly sculpted here also. Here see, this शिखर is, ये जो है आपका जिसे हम ड्योला कहते हैं, it is नगरा स्टाइल्ड. It is नगरा स्टाइल्ड. इसकी नगर की स्टाइल है. What is the features of नगरा स्टाइल? Curve. टाटा कर्व है ये. All right. So this is curvilinear. It is not pyramidal. In Dravida style, you have pyramids. It is not pyramidal. It is curve. The shape is actually curve. So the Kalinga style is also like a Visarai style. It is also a mix and match of both. But here you will see that the Jagmohana, which is Mandapa, is pyramidal. Ye pyramidal hai. So there is a mix and match of both. Another thing, it has large windows, which is absent in Dravida style or Nagara style. Windows का concept उसमें ज़्यादा नहीं होता है. It is mostly absent. And these are the different style: Rekha, Dola, Pida, and Khakra. The Khakra, which is, if it has a Khakra Dola, it is a goddess temple or a Durga temple. The other two are Shiv, Vishnu, or Surya. Right? Have you ever seen that temple, कोणार्क? कभी आपने फोटो देखा होगा उसका, कोणार्क टेम्पल, also known as Sun Temple. If you see the image of temple, you will find this kind of structure, this Jagmohana style. It is dedicated to sun. हो गया. Another regional style is the Kakatiya. Features क्या है? Granite. This is the most important feature. They use granite. They don't use sandstone. They have a water reservoir. That means Dravida, right? Dravida influence. Then they have pyramidal Vimana. Again, ये भी Dravidian है. But because Kakatiya is located where? Andhra region. So we were in Odisha, in Kalinga. Now we have shifted to Andhra. And as a result of that, what we have seen is that we are moving more towards the Dravidian style. Again, step towers, ये सारी चीजें. The difference is floating bricks. Now, why they are floating bricks? Because they have gum, right? Natural obtained gum plus husk and clay. And because of this, they are floating bricks. They are highly polished stones, which was usually avoided. Till now, I have not talked about polished stones, guys. Did I talk about polishing in Nagara style? No. Polishing in Dravida? No. In Visra? No. But now we are talking about polished stones. Before this, we have talked about the same in stupa art, the Indian stupas. The next important aspect of Kakatiya is sandbox technique. Sandbox techniques का कुछ नहीं होता है. They put stones and cover them with, you can say, clay and soil in order to create a foundation of the temple. And all this is done to withstand earthquake. All this is done to withstand earthquake. बस इतना ही. These are the example, 1000 temples, right? And the Kirti Torans, all ये भी वही हैं, other structures. ये बता देता हूँ आपको, this Kirti Toran is, it is a gateway. Warangal एक जगह है, इनकी capital भी थी, right? This is the kind of a gateway that they have. अब ये gate ही बचा है बस. Only this gate is left. See, the word they are using is Toran. और ये क्या है? ग्रेनाइट का है, ब्लैक ग्रेनाइट. ब्लैक ग्रेनाइट. पूरी कैपिटल सिटी में दिस इज द ओनली थिंग. इन द एंटायर कैपिटल सिटी दे हैव जस्ट गेट विच इज लेफ्ट. I don't know when the attackers were there during the time of Khilji, Malik Kafur was there. I don't know why they did not destroy this gate. Maybe they wanted you to study this for the UPSC, so they did not destroy this gate. Toran are there in the stupas as well. Same design hai. This is the same design that we see in the Sanchi Stoop. Kaling and Kakatiya are the regional variation of Visra. No, they are not. Visra is not a regional school. Visra is a separate school altogether. Earthquake resistance, yes, they are. Okay, so okay, we will discuss. We'll continue from here tomorrow. Okay, thank you everyone. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll forward all the notes from till here on the channel, on the website eLearn, as well as on the Rankers batch group. Okay, thank you everyone. My contact number, I have already shared it at multiple times, but maybe you would have not got it. Okay, thank you everyone. I'll see you tomorrow.